What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters, and welcome to No Life to Metal. It's time for yet another rock metal update. That's right. It's time for another rock and metal update. This is going to be all 7-inch vinyl, a little bit of rock, a little bit of metal, a little bit of everything in this one. I've done quite a few 7-inch vinyls, and I keep just showing these giant stacks of vinyl, and I got another stack of vinyl here. I just been in a 7-inch mood. I've been buying them, playing them, looking for them, and I just keep getting lucky and finding stuff for decent prices. Some stuff's pretty rare, which is great. So I'm gonna get right into this. I think that my 2 videos ago I had this gigantic pile of Aerosmith records, and as you all know, I pretty much showed an Aerosmith record in almost every single 7-inch vinyl update video. And then the next one after that, I had this huge stack of Alice Cooper. This time I've got a huge stack of another band, and I'm going to start off with that stack. So it's Deep Purple. This is a picture sleeve U.S. pressing from 1968 of Kentucky Woman, backed with Hard Road on the Tetragrammaton label. And actually, this is the cover, and I ended up buying 2 of these because I got them, like I said, I got them really inexpensive. Because I picked up that one and this one. And I grabbed this one mostly because it was in the original Tetragrammaton picture sleeve, record company sleeve, and you just don't see them that often. Usually when I see these Tetragrammaton sleeves, labels, they're in either some sort of white sleeve, and you just never see these blue and white Tetragrammaton sleeves. So I had to grab it too, and it wasn't real expensive. So very cool. This is again same single as the other one. So you got Hard Road backed with Kentucky Woman, 68, and then this one's also from 68. This is Listen, Learn, Read On, and River Deep Mountain High. And of course, the Kentucky Woman, of course, was actually a cover of Neil Diamond's song. And for those who don't know, people think Neil Diamond, they think, Las Vegas style crooner. But he was a rock artist in the very beginning. And obviously, Kentucky Woman is a rock song that Deep Purple had a hit with his song. So I don't know that this was ever a huge hit for them, but really cool to have this, again, in the original Tetragrammaton sleeve. Now, this one did not come in the sleeve originally, which is why I bought the other one, because I was going to put that sleeve on here. Well, then I ended up finding another record on the Tetragrammaton label that had the correct sleeve, really cheap. And so I picked that up just for the sleeve, and I put the record off to the side, and I'm going to give it to a friend of mine who is into that style of music. So, all right, this is a Japanese pressing, original from 1970 for Black Knight, backed with Into, I can't remember now. Yeah, Into the Fire. Yeah, I was right. I was second guessing myself. Now this one was Record Store Day like a year or 2 ago. Was put out again on 7-inch single, but it's a totally different sound, different mix. This is the original mix, and to me this sounds even different than the one that's on the actual record. And then the one that came out on Record Store Day, that was actually a 2015 remix of the song. So it's totally different than this original one. Like I said, this one's even got a different sound than the one that's on the In Rock album. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that. I've never owned this single before, so it was very interesting for me to hear it and to hear that it was different. Maybe some of you have, an inclination of why it's different or what's going on with that. I've got several friends like Blackmore Rules who was sure watching this video because I told him I was going to be showing Deep Purple singles. Maybe you know what the deal is. In 1972, this is, although it looks like a live single, it is not a Japanese pressing of Highway Star, backed with Lazy in the original Japanese sleeve. If you look really closely right there, you don't usually see that a lot on Japanese pressings, but you can see somebody wrote their initials on there. So whoever's record this was at one time, you loaned it to your friend, you put your initials on it to get it back. He didn't give it back, he sold it, and now I own it, so sorry. Deep Purple Burn, 1974, another Japanese pressing. I got all these Japanese pressings from the same seller for an amazing prices. I was just I mean, you never ever. The only time you see these for low prices is you'll see them from Japanese sellers, and you'll see them selling them for $10, $15, or $20, which is a fair price for these old, picture sleeve singles. But then the shipping from Japan to the United States is $20. So your $20 or $10 single ends up costing you 30, 40, 50 bucks. But this was a U.S. seller who had this one and the others, and they were all well under $10 each, and the shipping was like, for all of them, was like $4 because you basically you got shipping for the first one, and then all the others were free. So I just grabbed as many as I could because I was shocked to find them for that price. Again, classic Deep Purple from 1974. This is I picked this one up from that seller as well. This is not a Japanese pressing. This is a UK pressing from 1987 of Call of the Wild, backed with I can't remember what the back song is. I'll have to look. Call of the Wild, backed with Strange Ways. There's the back of it. But as you can see, it's a Polydor pressing from the UK. It's got that silver stamped, rather than paper, it's got that stamped silver center label. Can you even call it a label if it's not actually printed and pressed on there? It's actually just pressed right into the plastic? I don't know. And then, oddly enough, I had picked this one up in a stack with another guy. I was, and again, there's another person who I bought a bunch of singles from, and it was like, if you buy 1 or 6, it's the same shipping price. And I went through and I found this one. Now, this is before I had found this one. So now I have 2 different pressings. This is, like I said, a UK pressing. This is on Mercury Records, and is a US pressing of the same single. I mean, it is identical, sounds identical, same B-side, same pretty much cover, obviously. Difference being 2 different labels, 2 different countries. And that is it for the Deep Purple. I promise. So another, just one of my favorite bands. Ian Gillan is one of my favorite vocalists. I loved that Mach 2 era Deep Purple stuff. I like the early stuff with Rod Evans. I like the later stuff with David Coverdale. But man, Ian Gillan's just one of my all-time favorite vocalists. And one of these days I'm going to do a video and I'll show all my Deep Purple 7-inch or maybe my 12-inch, and also the Gillan stuff, because the band Gillan, I'm not talking about the Ian Gillan band, I'm talking about the band Gillan, who was around in the early 80s and kind of playing that new wave of British heavy metal style. I love that too. Like I said, one of my favorite vocalists. Alright, getting into a different artist, another one of those guys I pick up a lot of stuff by and show on almost every video. This is Ted Nugent. This is Amboy Dukes. This is a collectibles version of Journey to the Center of the Mind, back with You Breathe Sunshine, I Breathe Fire, Amboy Dukes. I'm always looking for Nugent Amboy Dukes stuff. This one bugs me a little bit, and you'll see why in a second, but this is a promo pressing from the UK of Stormtroopin' and Hey Baby from the very first Ted Nugent solo record. I thought when I purchased this that it had the original UK yellow Epic sleeve, and it did not. It came in this white sleeve where someone wrote Ted Nugent promo on it. So now I've got to find the sleeve. I don't know. It's kind of an OCD or anal thing, but it just irritates me to have the wrong sleeve on a record, or missing the sleeve. It's no different for a 12-inch record. Who wants a 12-inch record in the wrong sleeve, right? Well, it's the same thing with a 7-inch record for me, even if it is just the record company sleeve. So, but still, cool promo pressing from the UK that I picked up from I can't remember, eBay, I think. Jukebox single for a live version of Yank Me, Crank Me, Don't Wake Up and Thank Me. Yeah, that's an odd song. You just wouldn't think of having this in a jukebox, but it's exactly what this is. It's got the jukebox slip in it. Backed with a live version. B-side is Cat Scratch Fever Live. What do you want to bet the B-side got a lot more play than the A-side did if it was in any jukebox. So, from Double Live Gonzo, Ted Nugent. Another UK promo pressing. Now this one is in the right sleeve, and it's kind of cool. This is Homebound, Death by Misadventure. If you look at my last video, I showed another Ted Nugent German promo single that I had picked up, and this is one's got a similar cover. But the cool thing about this is, besides also being on the white label promo, is it's got a double-sided cover. So it has the homebound cover, which you can get regular. I have this, you know, regular homebound cover, and then it's got the promo side, which I've got on the outside like the other one. I don't know if it matters which one's in the front or which one's in the back, but I still think it's just a cool single to have, especially for a collector of anything Nugent as I am. I'll deal with that later. All right, getting into another band that I'm always showing, at least in every video I think I show at least one. There's several this time, but this is another version of Whiskey in a Jar, backed with Black Boys in the Corner, Thin Lizzy on the Decca label. I believe this was a German pressing, and a picture sleeve, obviously. Let me show you the back cover on this one. This one came in those sticky sleeves that you hear them when you're opening it up. If you look closely on the top, you can see somebody wrote their name on it. Once again, he probably wrote his name on there, loaned it to a friend, and his friend sold it, and now I own it. So, Whiskey in the Corner, Whiskey in the Boys, and Black Boys in the Corner. Whiskey in the Corner. It's a medley. All right. This is a U.S. pressing in the original Phillips Mercury sleeve for Jailbreak and Boys Are Back in Town. Classic Thin Lizzy. I just thought it was, first of all, it's a great song. Both of them are, Jailbreak and it was their biggest hit single, Boys Are Back in Town. You still hear, you know, it played in commercials, and I think didn't they even use it in like Toy Story or something like that? But anyhow, great song from Thin Lizzy. But I just thought it was cool to see something I've never actually. You never see this sleeve very often, so I was kind of glad to find one, and it was very inexpensive. Next one, this is Sarah. This is a UK pressing. There are 3 different covers for this one. I have the Philip Lynott cover. This is Brian Downey, drummer. I'm missing the Scott Gorham cover, so I still need to find the Scott Gorham cover for this. It's got one of those silver dye center labels. And the B-side on this thing is I Got to Give It Up. Got to Give It Up. That stuff. Yep, classic Thin Lizzy. And one more. This is Thin Lizzy related. I don't know. When I think Thin Lizzy, the first thing I think of is Philip Lynott. And this is King's Call. I grabbed this one, and again, this is another one that I grabbed because it was, you know, it doesn't matter how many you buy, you're going to get the same shipping, and it was not real expensive. Bugs me a little bit because if you look closely on the corners, whoever owned this before I did, put tape here, 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 and up here. And it looks like it's been like that since it was new. I guess they did that to protect the corners. Okay, you just ruined the value of your record. But I'll show you the back. So this is a promo pressing, and as you can see, it's got the little thing you can cut off to put in the jukebox. And you can see the tape a little better now. But as you can see on the top up here, the tape has gotten so old that the glue is just dried and the tape's just fallen off. So hey, maybe the rest of it will fall off because there's no rips in the thing. It's been, you know, it's been preserved by this tape. But again, it's still cool. It's just one of the few Phil Lynott singles I did not own, so it's cool to own regardless of whether it has tape on it or not. That's just me being dumb and anal. All right, next up. Getting more towards the metal side of things now. Just one that I had been missing for a long time. Finally found a decent copy of. Motorhead, I Got Mine. Another Perfect Day. Brian Robertson on guitar there, pictured in the center. Everybody hated him at the time because he refused to play old Motorhead songs and was, I guess, just a prick. But while he was with the band, they created some great music, and this is definitely one of those songs. Backed with Turn You Around Again. You know, this was released on a 12-inch single and a 7-inch single. Just didn't own the 7-inch single till now. Glad to own it. All right, this is a new Motorhead release. This Cleopatra has been releasing Motorhead singles here and there. Again, a lot of it is just cash grabs, but you know, people like me who buy anything with the band's name on it buy it anyhow, and obviously I did. There is a blue vinyl version and a red vinyl version. I don't care to own multiple copies just because of the color of the vinyl. I just happened to grab the blue one because it was with shipping was probably a little more cheaper than the red version for some reason. I don't know why. Especially because I know the numbers of each were about the same. But this is a 2021 pressing of 1978 live from the Roundhouse of Train Kept a Rollin'. Classic, you know, song. I think the Yardbirds made it famous first. Aerosmith really made it famous. Lots of bands have done it. Twisted Sister's done it. Obviously, Motorhead's done it. The B-side is a cover of Nothing Else Matters, which is not Motorhead, but it is Lemmy. And, of course, Lemmy is synonymous with Motorhead. And Lemmy plays bass and sings the song. It's a cool cover. He's done a couple. I think he did Whiplash, too. He's done a couple of Motorhead covers. So, figured this Motorhead, it belongs in my collection. Anything Motorhead does. So, glad to have it. And, of course, it wouldn't be a No Life to Metal update without Aerosmith, Japanese pressing. Again, that guy who had all those Japanese singles, I grabbed this one too. It was not too expensive. This is Draw the Line, backed with Bright Light Fright. Draw the Line is classic 78 Aerosmith. Love the track. Bright Light Fright is a Joe Perry penned song. He was obviously influenced by the growing punk scene at the time, and it's kind of got that upbeat, punky vibe to it. I wouldn't call it a punk song by any stretch of the imagination, but you can definitely tell he was influenced by that sound at the time. So, Japanese pressing of Draw the Line, Bright Light Fright. I've probably got like 7 or 8 versions of this single. I'm not even kidding. I just keep finding them for decent prices. And that same seller who had the others, the Deep Purple ones, also had this Australian pressing of Love in an Elevator. So it was worth grabbing for the price, and just one to add to my ridiculously large Aerosmith 7-inch collection. So Love in an Elevator, backed with, I don't remember what it's backed with anymore. I do spin all these. People ask me, do you just collect them or do you spin them? No, I usually spin them. I'll clean them up, spin them at least once. Love in an Elevator, backed with Young Lust. Now this one's a bit out of left field sound-wise. In one of my last 2 updates, I showed the heavy metal soundtrack for I keep wanting to say Deep Purple, but it's Cheap Trick. And this is the same cover, same soundtrack, but this has 2 songs from Devo, including the track Working in a Coal Mine. Remember that song? I do. So anyhow, I like the song, I like the band, I like the movie, and I just decided to grab this one as well. So now I have 2. I think there was 3 7-inch singles released with the same cover, the difference only being the name of the band and the songs on the front. So Devo, Working in a Coal Mine, backed with Planet Earth. Another one from that same seller, Japanese pressing. This one was really inexpensive. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. I like Headpins. It's not one of my favorite bands. And I don't necessarily collect 7-inch singles by them. But how often do you see a Canadian band, Japanese pressing, you know, inexpensive? So I grabbed it. Worth grabbing. I haven't spun this one yet. But it's just, like I said, classic hard rock in the vein of like 70s, early 80s Heart. That's kind of the sound you got going on here. Female vocals, powerhouse vocalist. It's good stuff. If you like that, you know, melodic hard rock sound, that's what you got going on there. Although also from Canada, yeah, I love Helix. I do collect Helix singles. I have tons of them. This is one I've been watching on eBay forever. And the thing is, it was like converting the Canadian and US money. It was like, it ended up being, I think he only wanted like $2 US for this picture sleeve single. But then shipping, it ended up being like $11. And I was showing my wife some of the stuff in my cart that I've been staring at, and she goes, if it was $10 at a record show, would you buy it? And I'm like, probably. She goes, well, then what's the difference? I was like, I don't know. so I'm like, buy. So it probably cost me, I think, $11. I don't usually talk about how I pay for stuff, but it probably cost me $11, and the shipping was more than the record itself. But that's all right. It's not one you see ever in the United States. It is a Canadian pressing with a picture sleeve. Gimme Gimme Good Lovin', backed with When the Hammer Falls. And as with many singles, I tend to like the B-side single better. Gimme Gimme Good Lovin's a cover song, whereas the B-side is a fantastic 80s style metal song from Canadian band Helix. Judas Priest. This is a pressing of Living After Midnight with Delivering the Goods on the B-side. Kind of an odd pairing. They weren't from the same album, but still cool. Has the original UK CBS sleeve. It's a little tattered. It's not too bad, but not a picture sleeve, but it's still Priest. So this was really cool. Anthrax, In My World. Definitely I need to show you this one because it's kind of interesting in that it has this little sleeve, and there's these little things here which I'm sure you can see if I get up close. and these are supposed to pop out, and you can pop them out easy enough. But it's kind of cool that they're still all there after all these years, because they're literally die cut out. They just have never popped out. So whoever's owned this thing has kept it in very good shape. Probably kept it in sleeve like I do. But it opens up like that, like this, and then the record actually fits into here. I of course have taken it out and put it into a white sleeve to preserve the cover, but from the Persistence of Time album, obviously, and it's got a live version of Keep It in the Family on the B-side. Very creative, very cool packaging, and a great single, just not one you run across very often. Anthrax, one of my favorite bands. They were a local band for me, growing up. I bought the Soldiers of Metal 7-inch single as a new release because I was in high school at the time, and we were just all into them. Them and Twisted Sister, they were just two bands that we all loved. My buddies, they were in a band called Heathen's Rage, and they were covering both. They were doing, I think, Destroyer by Twisted Sister and doing several. Soldiers of Metal, I believe, was one of the songs they were doing as well. So anyhow, Anthrax, In My World, 7-inch single. Good pile of this band. I've shown this one before in a separate video, but this is Scorpions. Is there anybody out there? And another piece of meat. Another piece of meat. This is the actual, the one I have showed before in another video is a black vinyl promo pressing. This is the regular pressing. I believe this is German. Let me see. Is it German or UK? I think it must be UK because I don't see any of the German stuff on here. So anyhow, this is on a green vinyl. Colored vinyl now is like you see it everywhere, but color vinyl in the 70s and early 80s, what was this, 1979, was pretty rare. This is on the Harvest label, obviously. Cool. So now I have the regular version on green, and I have a promo copy on black. 1980, I believe it was. This is what's the name of the damn song? I'm totally spacing the name of the song. Sorry. Turn the camera on and get stupid. But none of this is scripted. I'm just winging it. So Make It Real. Jeez. Backed with Don't Make No Promises Your Body Can't Keep. From the Love Drive, no, from Love Drive, from Animal Magnetism album. Obviously, there's a big picture of it in the back. It's just black vinyl. It's got the small center label, center hole, but it's got that little thing you can punch out if you want to for the bigger one. I've never actually ever seen one punched out, so I don't think anybody ever did. But 1980 classic Scorpions. And this one's has several different covers, this 7-inch single. So this one's got a price sticker on it, obviously, that someone has blacked out with a marker, so I have no idea what the price was. But it's not coming off, so I'm leaving it there. I'm not going to tear the cover up for the stupid little price sticker. And then one more from the Scorpions. This is obviously latter era. This is Believe in Love. This is a U.S. pressing on Mercury labels. Let me show you the back real quick. Love on the Run on the B-side. What year was this thing? 1988? 89? Can't see it. Itty bitty little type on the bottom right there. I can't see it. I think it's 88, 89, somewhere in that area. I'm not a big fan of this more melodic stuff they were doing in the late 80s, as I am the Yuli era stuff, the early 70s, late 70s and the early 80s stuff, but all the way up through Love It for Sting. But I do like it, and I do listen to it on occasion. But my favorite era is definitely going to be the Yuli era and those early 80s albums where they were just direct metal, and they weren't doing more of a pop sound like they are here, the pop metal sound. Scorpions, anything Scorpions, welcome to my collection. Casablanca Records, Angel, another one of those bands I collect anything I can find by. This is the Christmas song and the Winter song. Winter song being off of the Sinful album, the Christmas song being exclusive to this single at the time, and it is obviously a Christmas song. It is actually the Winter song with different lyrics and a different mix. So it's almost like having the same song on both sides, but one's more Christmas oriented, one is just a winter song. So Angel, U.S. pressing. This is a band that I don't really collect a lot by. I don't even have a ton of the 12-inch vinyl, less 7-inch. But I love this song, and I found it for a good price, and it had the picture sleeve, so I grabbed it. But this is You Better You Bet. Ooh, you better, you better, you bet, from The Who. And it came with this white sleeve as well that someone wrote on it, which I thought was kind of cool. It's like, it must have been a radio promo, because it's got like information on here about You Better, You Better, You Bet, number 18 of 100, 10 weeks in the top 40 with Pete Townshend. Number 1 rock charts, 5 weeks at number 1. Someone wrote all that information on that there, so I thought it was kind of cool. So that will forever stay with this record on Warner Brothers. Getting into a bit of prog here. This is Genesis, Abacab. People tend to think of Abacab as being a pop album, but Abacab is actually a long, proggy song. I mean, I think the song is like 7.5 minutes long. This is actually a mono and stereo version of that song. And I have yet to give this one a spin, so I don't know if this is a radio edit or not. It doesn't have the length on here, or does it? It does, 7 minutes and 39 seconds. So this is the full version of the song, mono and stereo. Promo pressing. Taking It All Too Hard, Genesis. Again, one of those bands I collect anything by, especially 7-inch singles, 7-inch singers. And this is from the self-titled Genesis album from the mid-'80s. Good song. Not my favorite album by Genesis. I like their 70s stuff. Love Duke and Abacab, and I like the later stuff too. They always kind of had they had a lot of pop hits, but they kept their prog sound too in a lot of songs. They still had the lengthy tracks, even though they had the hit singles as well. Back with Silver Rainbow, and you can see the self-titled Genesis sleeve printed on the back there. Just a few more, promise. 26 minutes in. I'm sorry, it's a long video. It's a lot of singles. Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall. This is a Columbia Hall of Fame pressing. Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2, I believe it is. Backed with One of My Turns. I'll just scream through these last 3 here. Yes, and You and I, Part 1. It's got an edited mono version and a regular stereo version. Yes, UK prog band, obviously. And then this is Foghat. This is a promo pressing of Stone Blue in the original sleeve. I had to double check because I wasn't sure if this was the correct sleeve or not, because it's on the Bearsville label. Bearsville was what do you call it? They weren't on the Warner Reprise, but I guess they were distributed by Warner Reprise. So Bearsville used the Warner Reprise sleeves for their singles at this time, which would have been, what, 1977, 78, somewhere around that time when this album came out. Same song on both sides, I believe. So you've got the regular version here, and then you got the radio edit on here, both in stereo. And then finally, the one disappointing record that I picked up recently. I purchased this thinking that it had the correct sleeve, and it is supposed to be a picture sleeve. This is a EP, 7-inch EP, Muscle of Love from Alice Cooper. So this one irritates me because it does not have the correct sleeve. It is just in a white sleeve. My fault. I misread the listing. I purchased this online thinking it had the sleeve, but it did say generic next to it, and my fault. Again, it wasn't expensive. I picked it up cheap. I went looking for another version of it, another copy of it, and found out that the ones that have the sleeves, and matter of fact, every other copy I found were way more expensive when I paid for this one. So I got this for a really good price, even without the sleeve. But regardless, it's got 4 songs on it. Working Up, Never Been Sold Before, Muscle of Love, and Teenage Lament 74. So there you go. That's my 7-inch vinyl update for October 2021. Appreciate y'all watching. Thanks for sticking with me for almost a half an hour. God bless. Stay strong.